I'm Truett from EBMX, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to install your X9000 onto your Talaria XXX. So make sure you've got your harness and bracket kit, and let's get into it.
The first thing you're going to want to do is unplug that battery. Now this is a must when you're removing the power cables so that you don't have any sparks flying. Now you'll notice here we have cut our bash guard already. You will need to cut your bash guard because the X9000 is a longer controller compared to the stock controller. Here's the Talaria SW102. Now you can just unplug this and get rid of it altogether. Now you want to start by removing these 4 bolts. This will remove the controller off the bike. Right, let's undo your power cables and your phase wires. Carefully pulling the booties back. You do want to keep these booties. They are a good safety measure. Run them whenever possible. Next, we're going to unplug our harness. Now being extremely careful to press down on the tabs and give them a nice little wiggle left to right. Right, now you can introduce your X9000 and start hooking up your positive and negative and your phase wires. Right, now snugging those phase wires up. Main thing here is that lock washer fully compresses, and when you wiggle the wire, it doesn't move. Right, now removing your old brackets. Now, if you haven't done so already, remove your beauty covers. So this is your horn cover and your left and right covers. Now, this next step is extremely important, but you need to have a dance brake.
When I see you dancing, I know you're a 10. It's some kind of magic. We both know it right away.
Alright, time to install these brackets. You want to use these holes. Now here's the orientation of the bracket. You'll notice how the holes are slotted. You want to try and push this bracket down as far as it can go so the controller clears nicely at the top of the bike. Alright, we're going to make sure to push those booties back over the top of the phase wires. Now obviously install your SW102 and your thumb regen if you're going to use it on your handlebars and plug it into your 2-to-1 cable, making sure to line those arrows up. Now your 2-to-1 cable, this is how we decide to run it, pretty much in line with all the factory wiring, and you'll just leave it sticking outside of the bike until the controller's been pushed back. Alright, so we're going to plug our new harness in. It's very simple. Match the plugs up, be gentle when pushing them into place, give them a firm push, and that's it. So you can see here I actually have a cable tie holding the controller up. Just makes it easier for doing those positive and negative wires. Again, giving them a firm nip up, putting the booty over the top, and that is done. Now you want to push your cables through, push them through just out of the way, out the side of the bike, and we'll plug them in once the controller's in place. Makes it nice and easier on the Talaria. It's a very good design. Now take your time with this. It does take a minute to push the controller back and get it in place. Now these little plastic spaces, they can either go on the frame side in between the bracket and the frame, which looks better, or you can put them in between the bracket and the controller. Now these spaces actually come with your X9000, so you need to grab your X9000 box and find these. Now good practice is to use a bit of Loctite on these screws and maybe even a washer and a lock washer. Because these spaces are just plastic, you don't want to be torquing them down too much because you will break them. So then once you've done that, it's simple. We're going to plug all our wires in. So we're going to start with our main wire being plugged into our new harness. And we're going to push that back nice and neat. Our 12 volt cable we don't need, so we can just push that back. Our Bluetooth module, we can plug that in now. Once again, pushing that back into the frame. Then we can firmly plug in our 2-to-1, making sure to line those arrows up. Then we can re-plug in our charge port and put our beauty covers back on. Then re-plug in your battery. put your quick release pin back through your shocky and we are done.
Right, so you've now installed your X9 onto your Talaria XXX. Let's first turn it on. Get your little whizzer banger. There you go, happy days, she's now on. And we're going to set it up on the app. Right, so we've opened up our app, we've selected our bike. First off, we're gonna go into settings, open up general. So in general, we want to select bike type as Talaria XXX, motor type as Talaria XXX. Then we want to select battery series, 16S. Then we want to select battery model as 16S 60 volt stock Talaria. That will automatically set our battery current. Now we need to do wheel diameter and gear ratios. So our wheel diameter, we are running the little supermotos. So that is roughly 510 millimeters. Then we've got our gear ratio. I did make a whole video actually teaching you how to calculate your gear ratios, but I am going to calculate this one for you. All right, so let's open up our calculator, because let's be honest, most of us didn't pass school. And we'll start with the belt drive. So the belt drive is 4623. Let's go 46 divided by 23 gives us 2. Then let's do the chain drive. In our case, we're running the stock sprocket, which is 48. So we go 48 divided by 13 gives us a whopping 3.692. So 3.692 times our front ratio, which is 2, gives us 7.384. You'll just put in 7.38. Gear ratio, and we put it in 7.384. Well, 7.38. Okay. And then we can press save. Obviously, do your temperature units, your speed units, wherever you are in the world, whatever, imperial, metric, go to town. Press save. Right, now we're going to calibrate our motor. It'll give us a prompt straight away. We press yes, and we press start, and that is now going to calibrate said motor. And hopefully, you plugged everything in properly, and it just calibrates. Successful. Right, successful. Let me press OK. That took a weirdly long amount of time. I was worried that I did do something wrong, but I didn't. So the last thing to do in the Generals tab is to check your motor direction. All right, so we're gonna put our bike in mode 1 and twist our throttle. As you can see, our wheel is going the wrong way. It's going anti-clockwise. We want it to go clockwise when it's in mode 1. So we're gonna come down here and it actually says clockwise already, but it's wrong. So we're going to set it, in our case, anti-clockwise, which will be clockwise. Save, okay. And there you go. Modes and levels. We can now set our modes and levels. We want to run, the maximum we can run with the stock battery is about 6 kilowatts. Anything over that, the battery will trip. So a max mode, we can just bump it up to 6 there. And then max phase, we could bump that to about 400. That's the maximum phase you will want to run through this thing before it will trip. Reverse strength, doesn't really matter. I like to crank it up. I like going fast in reverse. Crank that puppy up. Save and continue. Let's go to throttle. In throttle, I pretty much leave stock settings. So we got twist throttle is accelerator, our off throttle regen, 20%. We've then got our thumb throttle, which is set to regen brake. And then ramping time and all of that. We did a whole video on throttle tuning, so you can head over to that video if you want to mess with your throttle. I'm gonna leave it as is, save and continue. Right, talking about throttle, let's calibrate our throttle in calibrations. So let's press set up twist throttle, start wizard. Set up in process, means you do nothing. Release throttle also means you do nothing. Press throttle, roll throttle all the way back. And release, and you are done. Save. All right, always good to do. Thumb throttle calibration, set that up as well, if you're using it, of course. If you're not, make sure you turn it off, otherwise you will get error 08, which I did a whole video on that as well. So if you're having troubles with that, head over there. So start wizard, same thing again. Push your throttle all the way down, regen brake, and we're done. Save. Now, max field weakening we can run is 40%. There we go. And we can leave the rest. It's all our battery information, which we really don't want to touch, all our minimum and maximum voltages. We've already done encoder calibrations when we originally selected our bike. It prompted us to do it, so we don't need to worry about it. Save and exit. And that's it. You are now ready to rip. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.